Hello,
Hi,
I'm Peng.
I'm Heeyah.
I'm Jenny.
I guess.
Today we're going to talk about the book The Truth About Stories by Thomas King. Stories of, According to Thomas King, stories are fundamental to how we see and understand the world and also ourselves. He used two stories about the creation of the world. In the story of Genesis, everything was created perfectly by God, but later corrupted by the mankind's sin. In the creation story by the native people of North America, the world started simple and is gradually constructed by the shared efforts of all beings. Both stories are about the formation of the world, but because the Christians and the Native American have different understanding of the world, they tell their stories differently. In our class, we also need to tell the story of about the Christian community. Yet, Emory students are from a very diverse, from different backgrounds, and we might see things very differently. Do you guys think this difference is gonna create chaos or diversity? Um, how is this difference going to be an advantage or disadvantage when we are trying to tell a story about the Christian community? Now I'm going to pass on to here
Actually, Jenny.
and Jenny.
Yeah, I really liked how Thomas King started each chapter with the same story, and he seems to prove a point that even the exact same story becomes a little different as some elements are added or subtracted. Also, the ending statements were impactful, I think, because I also believe that the listening to stories can broaden the perspectives. And in fact, chapter 2, You're Not the Indian I Had in Mind, spoke most powerfully to me. And I'm taking Native American literature class right now, and I'm reading two books by Indian authors. And as King said, I honestly had this view, so-called stereotypes of Indians, and I thought Indians would probably wear feathers on their heads and enjoy singing or dancing, etc., etc. However, those two books and this chapter two made me realize that I was also in the box. I was no better than the immigration officer who said cowboys and Indians, who couldn't distinguish Asians, like Indian people, and Native American people. And to make a connection back to chapter one, King suggests that the readers to King suggests that readers to talk about or think about what would have happened if the stories were changed. Since I got to get rid of my preconceived notions of Indians, now the stories will be different to me. And I want to ask a question to everyone: how much power does the story have? And now I'll pass on to Hia.
So I like several points that King made in this book. But I want to focus specifically on chapter 3 because I thought it had many interesting parts. So another native Indian called the author an apple, saying that he was only native on the outside and but like white on the inside. So King talks about how if he dressed like an Indian and acted like an Indian, he would have been like entertainment for the white Americans. On the other hand, if he dressed like a non-Indian and acted like a non-Indian, he wasn't an Indian, would get called on by the other like Native Americans. So this led me to think about the other minority groups in America, and like many try to retain their own culture and identities in America, refusing to be completely like assimilated. But on the other hand, they're well, actually, these often don't become like true Americans, and they're occasionally subject to stereotypes and discrimination called the FOBs, fresh off the boat. But on the other hand, those who do embrace the whole American culture and and try to become a part of the new culture are subject to are not subject to as many stereotypes from the American, but they're instead called on by their own ethnic groups. So if you think about Sorry. If you think about ethnic groups, if you think about it, we have so many names referring to these groups of people, like Twinkies, Oreos, etc. So I just want to hear what you guys think about this and whether the minority groups should retain their own culture or instead become a part of the whole American culture. And the second point that I want to point out is, you know how King talks about a variety of reaction that European explorers had when they first encountered the Native Americans. So Columbus, as well as Pedro Caminha, another guy from Portugal, described the natives as good-looking and innocent people who could easily be made into Christians and servants. And other explorers, including Giovanni de Verrazzano and the Jacques Cartier, made positive remarks about the natives, calling them civil, quick-witted, and of gentle nature. But however, the Puritans viewed them as a threat to their efforts to settle down in America and called them the savage people who must be pushed aside and subordinated. And I can kind of see a role of religion in this example. And I'm taking religion right now, and we talked about how religion has an impact on, like people's culture and their reactions to like a new culture. And I kind of want to hear what you guys think about this and see if you guys notice a relationship between the religion, a person's religion, and I guess their reaction to other cultures. Yeah. That's
Okay.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.